Hi, I am Billy Putnam. You may know me as MentaL, and this is my Call of Duty story.
Traded out, Slack able to pick up the seed. MentaL working right through, is able to find one. Someone up here traded. Oh, MentaL, you bamboozled him, you dirty man!
Honestly, after my last Gears of War event, which was in August of 2020, there was like an announcement on Gears of War's future in the next season, and it didn't just seem too promising for me at the time. If I make this switch to Call of Duty, I feel like if I become pro or something like that, I'll have more options in the future. And then right after the event, I was like, I'm gonna think about this for a week, I'm gonna make a tweet. And then shortly after, I was getting hit up by a few teams. And that's when I was like, okay, this is actually happening. I had other options at the time when I was thinking about making a switch to another game. Valorant was like close second, and Halo maybe like a close third as well. It was pretty even all around, but Call of Duty, I feel like I've always kept up with throughout the years. I knew more people around, I guess, in the community, and I played it more often than the other games.
This was the first year that we were going to have an academy team. So for us, it seemed like a good opportunity to develop someone.
Essentially, I guess the easiest way to do it would be to like compare him to, I guess, one of like a prospect that's just turning 18 years old, and everyone is like touting him as super high skilled.
I think you look at what a player of that caliber who's won that many times in any game is capable of, and they might not understand Call of Duty, but they understand what it takes to be a player.
Obviously, you know that there's going to be a lot of teaching and a lot of learning that they have to do. So it's kind of like thinking about it in that sense that his talent is super apparent, like to anyone that watches him, I think.
So for us, if we're going to build a team that's centered around development, you want someone who has the ability to learn and excel at that high level.
We all knew going into it that there would be learning processes along the way and like catching him up on some stuff. But realistically, if you look at kind of just like the 18-year-old high individual skill like prospect, it's kind of the same thing, except what Billy has that they don't is years and years of LAN experience, being in a top team, knowing how those top teams operate, knowing what it takes to like dominate a scene.
And when we first saw the tweets come out about him choosing to switch from Gears of War to Call of Duty, people were saying, oh, I hope after this year he gets a shot on a team. And we thought, why not give him a shot the whole time?
When I was about to make that official tweet that I wanted to switch to Call of Duty, I was a little bit nervous. I just remember having to reword the tweet a few times. Like, I didn't really know what to say exactly. I for sure knew like it was gonna be surprising, so it was kind of just an idea I threw out there, I guess. I kind of gave it some thought, and then when I started thinking about it more and more, I was like, I really want to do this. I started dropping another tweet that I'm stepping down from the Gears roster, and I told the team, I gave them a lot of time to think about it as well. After I made the tweet that I was stepping down, beforehand, like I didn't have any offers, but right after that tweet, I had about 2 teams hit me up like minutes after, and then it wasn't until the next day or two, there was like another team or two. It was so surreal to me at the time. I was like, dang, this is actually happening. Like the switch is gonna work out. So at the end of the day, I chose LG and the academy team and to be a sub for the pro team. So I'm very happy with the decision I made, and I don't regret any of it.
When we saw the tweet, we saw it starting to get blown up, and I had known him from back when he was on Optic's Gears of War team.
Once we saw that tweet that like he was wanting to fully commit to Call of Duty, that's when it became something that was very interesting to us, like for the academy side.
Sort of like had the little flashback, looked into it a little bit more, started talking to him. He seemed really excited, just genuinely wanted to learn, wanted to compete, and wanted to see what he could do. And it aligned with our interests pretty heavily.
Getting someone with like the experience that he has on the academy side and just being able to work with him and put him in an environment where like he can develop his COD ability, that's something that was really interesting to us, and we think he's done a great job so far, and like he has a long ways to go still, which is super encouraging because he's already made so much improvement, and we feel like he can still get a lot better.
I was never very doubtful, I guess, even with the rough patch I guess we went through as the academy team. I still had a lot of confidence in us. I feel like it was just more so establishing who we were as a team and just getting the teamwork down. Individually, I think we're all really great. We are still a top team in my eyes, even when we're losing and having bad placements. I knew it was just inconsistencies, not too bad, I guess, but I knew we had the talent, so I was still hopeful that we'll be doing good in the future, and which we are now, so I'm happy for that. I was really familiar with Call of Duty. Making the switch, I'm still confident in myself, and I was at the time. No one in Gears has made the switch to another game and gone pro. I wanted to be the first, I guess, and still happy with the decision I made. From here on out, I just want to become a top player in the game and win a championship and solidify myself as a top player in this game as well.
He definitely has like some traits that you can't teach. Like when I watch him just play, obviously he's only been playing Call of Duty for this year, but like when I see him on the map, his ability, like what we call finessing, or like playing his life, staying alive after like maybe getting a kill and then and not instantly getting traded right away. Like the stuff like that is just super apparent. It's more so just been about teaching him some things and then getting him on the same page with his teammates about how they want to approach the map.
Everyone seems to know what they're doing, and being the new guy, I feel like I've had to learn the most almost, because I just completely switched to Call of Duty, so I didn't really know much. And my teammates have been really good at transitioning with me, almost being a mentor. So it's been very helpful and great, and I'm happy about it.
We have a pretty clear vision for what we want to do and what we want to develop. We told him, hey, we're not expecting you to come out and in 2 months or 3 months or even necessarily this year have it all figured out. When he announced it, they kept saying like, oh, he's going to be on the starting lineup in 4 months. We said, don't feel the pressure for that to be the case, right? You have to be able to learn and to take your time and to do it how you think you should do it and play your game. And so we needed the time for that to develop, and I think he probably saw that and was like, oh, that's nice to know that I get the opportunity without the pressure of someone expecting that from me. So we were able to have a discussion, fill him in on what we wanted to do, and he pretty quickly said yes. So from there, he was the first person that we had talked to, and we sort of built the roster, the academy roster around him.
A lot of people had doubted me coming to Call of Duty because third person was Gears and first person was Call of Duty. At the end of the day, it didn't look that different to me. Like, I'm more so comfortable with first person, if anything, so there was never like a doubt in my mind at all. Honestly, the main difference between the two games, Gears and Call of Duty, is probably playing Gears of War. I was playing 5v5 for quite a while, even though I played 4v4 competitively for a few years as well. It's just more so learning the different game types, such as hardpoint, search and destroy, and stuff like that. Gears of War had like a domination kind of game mode. Learning the game modes have been the only like challenge for me so far, and just grinding every day playing Call of Duty, trying to get my shot to be perfect, you know. So that's everyone. In team tournaments and team situations, I would say Gears of War, the communication's about the same as Call of Duty. Obviously I have to call out like multiple things, but Call of Duty does have more precise call outs. I feel like it's a little bit more important, as in Gears you could get away with just pure talent sometimes and pure skill and just kind of just doing your thing, and you don't have to say much sometimes. Call of Duty, like all around a team effort, you have to talk, like probably more than Gears.
There's just differences in how the game is played, right? So I know something that when we were first trying to figure out is like there's different types of knowledge when it goes from third person to first person.
Even if you're picking up an amateur player who's been in Call of Duty his whole time, but he just started like maybe competing on the competitive side of the game, you're gonna have to teach them basically from the ground up in the same way that you would someone coming from a different game. So like there might be some little things that I guess you would kind of seem obvious to natural Call of Duty players that maybe Billy needed to pick up on to begin with.
There's stuff in first person games like head glitches that maybe aren't super prevalent in third person games, because you can always see where the body is and it can't be hidden behind things.
It really has been just about trying to get him like on the same page about how we want to approach the game from a teamwork perspective, and like how the players on the team need to play with each other.
When we first started, we had to sort of figure out how to approach those things, but Billy's a quick learner. He always says yes and tries it, so it seemed pretty easy.
At the pro level, there really is no difference, I feel like, between the two. You have to be willing to sacrifice some time, you have to be humble, you have to just be disciplined and just not have an ego, because the more egotistical you are, like the less you're gonna like listen to your teammates. And at the end of the day, like your teammates are there to help you, so always take your criticism well, and don't just be that guy that thinks they're the best and just doesn't listen to others, because that's how you don't improve. Only way to improve is to listen to your others, your teammates, coaches, and all of that. And when you do that, the game just gets easier and you learn more. Honestly, that's like every level of pro gaming. You just want to be that guy that listens and has a good attitude, because good attitude gets you far.
I think MentaL brings a lot to Call of Duty, coming from Gears of War and just a different game in general. Like his talent in FPS in general is like second to none. He's very individually skilled.
He's got the ice, we know that, right?
He knows what it takes to be a part of a top team. He has that experience. He knows what it's like to be a star player on a top team and how to like work with his teammates. Him transitioning over and bringing all that along, that still carries over regardless of the game, knowing how to be a teammate and knowing how to operate in a team environment.
If you're gonna be on main stage 22 times, you're gonna have the ability to perform and to always make sure that you remember what you practiced, remember what you learned, and do what you need to do when all the pressure's on you.
His runway of how far he can go, how much better he can get, is just so vast.
Gears of War has always meant a lot to me. It's been around for a long time in my life, and I met a lot of people throughout the years, and I've won a lot of championships, and honestly it changed my life. I'm always forever grateful for the opportunities I had in Gears, and it's still one of my favorite games. I'll never forget about the times I had playing Gears. From here on out though, just look in the future, just gotta play Call of Duty more and just gotta focus on Call of Duty. A standout play for me in Gears was back in Gears of War 4. It was on a map called Dam. I think it was against Envy. I was back pipes, and I remember fake mantling over, throwing a nade, then actually mantling over to dodge a shot and getting a 3-piece with the reaction shot at the end. I know that's a memorable play for a lot of people that follow me, and honestly, that's like one of my favorite plays and one that stands out to the most. I feel like I didn't even hit my complete peak in Gears of War before I quit. My last major, I feel like I was only getting better. I think I had like a 1.77 KD at Gears Champs without dropping a map. That was the best KD I think I've ever had. I knew from there I was gonna keep on improving, so the sky's the limit for me, I feel like, in Call of Duty as well. I feel like I'm not even close to my peak. I'm happy the way I'm playing, but I still wanna get better. I'm thinking my peak will be later down in a career playing Call of Duty.
Thought process for giving MentaL a starting spot on the roster going into stage 5 was kind of twofold in some ways. We needed to get Justin Silly. We needed to get him back on an assault rifle and get him back in his comfortable role.
There's a lot that goes into decisions like that. I think we had made some changes earlier in the season.
Also, just have another natural sub player on the team, and that's something that Billy is, and that's what he's been working on this year. And we think it just makes a lot of sense.
When we first swapped Reese out and brought Sheen in, where we changed Justin's role a little bit, we started to move things around. So you look at that and you say, let's go out there and let's give someone who we think has earned it the shot to prove what they have, especially because we remain committed to developing him and really trying to help build out his Call of Duty talents. And then also, he's just that type of player who you never know, right? He could go out there and he could be the next Shotzi or the next whoever, right? And really just prove himself completely. So our thought was, we got one stage left, let's figure it out.
We think Billy has shown that he is super willing and able to improve. And so giving him the opportunity to play in the CDL during this stage and kind of get those repetitions and continue improving as a player, that's kind of what we're looking at. And I think he can also kind of breathe a new breath of fresh air into our team and kind of reset some things going into the final stage and hopefully get us to where we feel like we should have been, but weren't able really to get there.
I appreciate all the support and all the people that's followed me throughout this journey so far. Gears fam, I know you guys have my back, and I appreciate that. Honestly, yeah, I'm just happy to make the switch and hope to do the Gears fam proud, becoming the first player to make the switch successfully. And honestly, I'm just happy about it all, and I appreciate all of you guys.